What's up guys, and welcome to a new video. In today's video are we going to talk about the possible Blackwater Massacre DLC coming to Red Dead Redemption 2 story mode. This video is speculation but based on facts and hidden dialogue from the existing game. We will divide this video in two parts. The first part will be about what exactly happened in the Blackwater Massacre, and the second part will be about the main protagonist in this DLC. So, the Blackwater Massacre took place in 1899, just before the events of Red Dead Redemption Part 2. The following information do I get from Arthur's journal. I will not read it all, but I summarize it. You can search the info up yourself in Arthur's journal in the game. Arthur says in the journal that he lost his old journal in a big fire up north. So I expect this DLC starts with a cutscene somewhere with the camp or a town on fire. It can be Linde, but I doubt it because it's close to Horseshoe Overlook, and that's where the game starts more or less in Red Dead Redemption Part 2. However, it's still north of Blackwater. But Arthur said his old journal was burned down in that fire, so I expect it was the camp on fire. After that fire they went up to the Northern Grizzlies. We know there's a West and an East Grizzlies, so it can be a map expansion. When they were in the Northern Grizzlies, did they stay in the wilderness and food was easy to find and life was good? Arthur says it's a mountain area, but there's a lot of food, so I don't expect to have a lot of snow over there. So imagine in this DLC you live in the wilderness. That's pretty cool. You go hunting every day, fishing, I don't know what. But I think that will be pretty cool. It will also be cool if you are Charles or if you go hunting with Charles. Arthur says in his journal as well that they picked up Jenny in the Grizzlies, a sweet girl, and an outlaw called Micah somewhere in a bar. Dutch found him. This bar is in a place called Crenshaw Hills. That is what Micah said.
Maybe he never told you, but fact is, I stopped him getting killed in a bar fight in Crenshaw Hills. He's trying to sell some gold you boys had stolen, annoyed some locals. So, I saved his life.
No, that ain't true.
Ain't it? Why? 'Cause I need to sit around and boast about things I made up 'cause I failed fighting Redskins, that's so? Good day, gentlemen.
So if this will be a map expansion, I think this Crenshaw Hills will be the main town, like the Valentine of this area. Arthur says nothing about Charles, but he should have joined the gang as well around that time. After being stuck in the wilderness for a couple of months, did they set up camp just outside a town called Blackwater. Arthur also says about Blackwater that there's a lot of money, but the gang was already really rich and they wanted to go to California or some other place, was what Dutch said, and Dutch was really happy in that time. He also stated that it was good to sleep in a bed from time to time for being so long in the canvas. I think this means Arthur stays a lot in the hotel of Blackwater. Furthermore, did Arthur says that the camp was in plain sight, so I think it was just outside Blackwater. Also that he wrote that he don't understand why John came back. He only argues with Abigail. So probably we see John coming back as well around this time. He also says he didn't see Trelawney for months, but people were talking in town about a man who looks like Trelawney. Sounds a bit like Strange Man for me, because we know from Red Dead Redemption 1 that he was at the Blackwater Massacre. In Blackwater, did Hosea and Arthur wanted to scam rich people, and Dutch and Micah were onto a big robbery from a ferry bringing money for the banks of this area. The main plan was that Dutch, Micah and the boys should rob the ship, and the day afterward Arthur and Hosea do this big scam, and they will meet west in the desert country, so that will be New Austin. However, things didn't go as it was planned. Now let's talk about the ferry robbery. Dutch went with Mac and Davy Callender, Micah Bell, John Marston, Javier Escuella and Sean Maguire to the ferry. The robbery went smooth at the start, but when the gang had the money, around $150,000, they got ambushed.
So, you were there, Javier. What really happened on that boat?
We had the money, it seemed fine. Then suddenly they were everywhere.
Bounty hunters?
No, Pinkertons.
Sean was hit unconscious from the start and was captured.
I'm gonna miss them calendar boys. They'd fighting them.
I won't. They were a liability.
It's not kind to talk poorly of the dead.
David Calendar was a dangerous fool. I imagine it was his fault things went so bad in Blackwater.
Well, I can't remember. I was knocked unconscious almost as things kicked off.
So the gang is still not sure if they were spotted in Blackwater or if someone tipped them off in Blackwater.
What kicked him off?
He was spotted. Or set up. Wasn't clear which.
I didn't know that.
Well, what's done is done, I guess.
So like Javier said, the gang was ambushed and the Pinkertons came from everywhere.
It was crazy. Raining bullets.
So maybe at this moment the Pinkertons started to shoot with a Maxim gun on the ferry. Then Davy, Mac and John got shot.
Davey got shot. Mac and John, both shot too. Sean, we don't even know. I'm surprised we escaped at all.
So in this ambush, or after this ambush, or somewhere in between, Dutch shot a girl in the head, an innocent girl, her name was Heidi.
John Marston. Do I know you? I hope so. I seem to know you. I'm pretty good at remembering faces. Are you? Do you remember Hattie McCourt's face? Who? She was a girl Dutch Vanderlyn shot in the head on that raid on the ferry a few years back. Same one you got shot on. Pretty girl, until her eye was hanging out by a thread of tendon and her brain was plastered over a wall.
Dutch killed a girl in a bad way. But it was a bad situation.
That ain't like him, though. Sometimes I start thinking about that girl. Well, Javier knows what we saw, and it weren't pretty. Ask Micah. Although, he encouraged it. Weren't pretty at all.
So imagine how that goes. Javier, John are there, Dutch is there, Micah is there, encouraging Dutch to shoot a girl in the head. Oh man, this will be a crazy cutscene, man. So at the same moment, Arthur, Jose and the rest of the gang were on the other side of Blackwater. And they went to the gunshot to assist Dutch and the fleeing gang.
By the time you boys showed up from the other side of town, we were only just holding on.
So Arthur and the others managed to help flee Dutch, Micah, John, Davy and Javier, but had to leave Sean and Mac behind.
Sean, Mac, they might be okay. We don't know.
We know from the story that Sean was captured by bounty hunters, and we also know that Milton found Mac Calendar.
Listen. This is my offer, Mr. Morgan. Bring in Vanderlyn, and you have my word you won't swing.
Oh, I ain't gonna swing anyways, Agent,
Milton.
You see, I haven't done anything wrong. Aside from not playing the games to your rules.
Spare me the philosophy lesson. I've already heard it from Mac Calendar.
Mac Calendar?
He was pretty shot up by the time I got to him. So really, it was more of a mercy killing. Slow, but merciful.
We also know that Jenny Kirk died in Blackwater, but not how. And we also know that Davy Calendar died in Coulter. Dutch and Hosea both managed to hide the money somewhere in Blackwater, and only those two know where it is. That is what we know from camp conversations.
Well, this is fun, ain't it? On the run with a bunch of women. All our money lost back in Blackwater. Old Dutch knows where the money is, just him and Hosea, same as usual.
And I think it's hidden in the grave of Dutch's mother, because we also know that she is buried in Blackwater. Now let's talk about the main protagonist of this game. I don't think that you will be Arthur, due to the fact that he wasn't with them on the ferry. And I think that Rockstar wants to show what happened on that ferry. Javier is a possibility. But I hope he gets another Mexico DLC where we talked about in the other video. I don't think you will be Micah because everyone hates him. And I also don't think you are Davy because he's shot and can't really move and got dragged out of there. John Marston is a big possibility. He does get shot in the ambush, but we know he don't have fatal injuries because he was able to ride a horse and flee up in the mountains and get attacked by wolves. However, I don't think they will make another game about John Marston as the main protagonist. So the only one left is Mac Callender. And I think you will be Mac Callender in this DLC. Not only because he's likable by everyone, but also we need to know what exactly happened between him and Milton. Maybe Milton kills Mac like he said, or it's a lie and Mac just survived and went to New Austin. Because like Arthur said in his journal, that the gang will meet up in New Austin after the robbery. And maybe you get some missions in New Austin with Mac Callender. And you can roam around the whole map of Red Dead Redemption 2. But you cannot go to Coulter because of the snowstorm. Because you know in chapter 1 there's a snowstorm. And like if you go to near Coulter to visit the gang as Mac Callender, it says like, or there comes a pop-up and it says like, there's a snowstorm, you can't go here. Guys, I hope you like this video. Please comment below what you think about this DLC, or it will come, or what are your expectations of a DLC like this. Thanks for watching guys, and see you in the next video.